fee or tax, whatever you want to call it, that we're scheduled to receive in fiscal year 14. That's for half a year, so anticipate that for the fall of next year. You'll see it again in our budget presentation next year. So that's a full year $200,000 estimate for this budget, which should be $100,000, just $100,000.
Let's see what good news is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right, at this time, we're going to go back and receive information, take desired action in reference to a budget ordinance to establish capital project budgets for the year 2013, 2014, budget year, 5-year capital improvement plan. And Catherine, I think you said that you're going to continue on with this, so carry forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What you'll see, we'll move through this rather quickly because I think you've seen the capital improvement plan each year, and in the right management of the capital improvement plan, we have this year's contributions all taken care of, and you move on to the next year. So it shouldn't be a lot of surprise each budget year. Last year, we shared with you that we were deferring capital in order to bring you a balanced budget. We're having to do that again this year. So if you'll take a look at this slide, we're going to be increasing the capital improvement plan by almost $3 million from last year. But these are not general fund projects, as I would anticipate you would predict. So the total budget for the full capital improvement plan budget is just over 71, almost 72 million. That's an increase of 6.2 million over last year's CIP. Recognize that we're trying to forecast revenue growth in years outside of fiscal year 14. That's why that number is so large. So some of the focus areas, we can walk through those. We're trying to focus investment in public works. Those would be roads and intersections, bridges, stormwater, and our solid waste division. We are not in the next, in fiscal year 14, but moving forward, our plan, as we've agreed on, council and me, our goal will be to decrease our use of capital leases for vehicles and technology. That means we need to go to a cash plan where we pay as we go. I am not able to do that next fiscal year. That money would come from the general fund, and we just don't have the capacity for it. But you'll see in the capital improvement plan, I'm going to try to make up some ground over the next couple of years, assuming that our revenues begin to rebound. As I mentioned before, the general fund outlay is minimal in this capital improvement plan, and we are working forward to implement the parks enhancement plan as well. So a couple of highlights. In the stormwater management plan, we have some additional steps with our MS4 that we're going to have to step forward with. We also have some storm sewer inspection needs that we'll have to accommodate in the capital improvement plan too. In solid waste, we're moving forward with phase 7, so you see that we're looking at our permitting and our wetlands mitigation in order to do so. In public safety, we need to replace our recording system that's included in the CIP, and we're continuing to move forward with the county comprehensive plan in this plan as well. So probably one of the bigger areas is in our parks. I just want to hit some highlights. You've seen these before, but just for the sake of refreshing your memory, we've listed here all of the parks that are going to be impacted by the parks enhancement plan. You'll find those details in the CIP budget. Quick highlight of the revenues and expenditures. The numbers are pretty small on the screen, but they show in your book a lot better. We show you here, you'll find this in your books, the total revenues, and then you'll also find a recap, Jimmy can move to the next slide on expenditures as well. You see these each year. I just wanted to call your attention to them in your budget books. So I think that what will probably be more helpful to you is this pie chart that shows how the CIP is distributed, and you'll see that we're trying to put the bulk towards roads and intersections and bridges, and then the breakdown from there. I promised you a very brief overview. There isn't a whole lot of additional information in the CIP that you haven't seen before in other plans. We'll be glad to answer any questions though if you have any about the CIP. I had anticipated that your questions would be on the general fund side. That concludes our presentation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Being done, I'd like to entertain a motion to move the first reading of the ordinance.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor, let me know by raising your right hand. So carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. That concludes the first finance meeting. Now I'll call to order meeting, and I will render the invocation. Reverend Chaplain Taylor has another engagement, cannot be here today, so if you would bow. Father, I want to thank you for allowing us to gather here today. I ask that you be with each one of us as we conduct this meeting. I thank you for giving us and our citizens the privilege to call Farmer County home. I ask you watch over our employees as they provide service to the public each and every day. I ask you watch over those that serve and protect our citizens each and every day. I also ask you guide and protect the students, our teachers and administrators and other school personnel in this county. I thank you for the many blessings of life. And when we adjourn, I ask for safe travel for everyone gathered here today. In your name we pray. Amen. Next, we have a flag service. Mr. Davis will lead us.
Attention to colors, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you much. Next item 4, we'll receive the recommendation of the Personnel and Finance Committee report. Call the chairman.
Mr. Chairman, this morning we received information to take desired action in reference to budget orders relating to fiscal affairs of Spartanburg County, making appropriations, therefore levying taxes for the fiscal year beginning July the 1st, 2013 and ending June the 30th, 2014 to provide for the budget control of the said appropriations Spartanburg County Council. Mr. Chairman, it was a suggestion of our committee that we render first reading of this, and at this time I move we render first reading.
Motion. Second. And we have a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr. Smith.
I'd like to move to amend the budget, in the parks millage from 5 to 5.5 mils, and if I may have, a short period of time to just tell you the reasons why. And I'll tell you up front that last year we cut the parks millage from 5.8 to 5. I was part of what led that. I made a mistake. I see that. I'm very pleased with where parks is going today. We're bringing on 3 new parks, Poston Creek, Chesney, and I believe we're in the process of looking to purchase property on at Clifton number 2. We certainly have the money on the capital side, but the money on the opposite side of the fence is just running dry. We need additional monies to be able to staff those parks and run them. I don't have the figures, Dale, in your area, but I do have them in the Chesney area. The total population, not including the city of Chesney, for the Chesney address is 46,645 people. I didn't realize it was, when I asked for that information, that it was that large, the Chesney mailing address. All those people, along with a lot of the people, look back to the Chesney area for their parks. We have the opportunity, and it's in our capital plan, and the city of Chesney is coming into the parks plan, so that even puts more people. That's going to put another additional 1,000, 1,500 people into that plan. That's close to 1/6 of our total population. It may be 26, 28%. So I may be giving the figure from. There's a lot of people that and they answered back to the Chesney side. We'll be given 22 acres, a $1.2 million building that the cost of the build is in excellent shape. The seniors building this, to staff that area, there's about $265,000. One of that staff will oversee the T.W. Edwards Center, along with the Chesney Center, along with the Woodward Center, along with Tiger River and Cleveland Park, bringing them on board for seniors events. Spartanburg Regional is partnered with the Chesney Senior Center and is doing a $60,000 renovation to the kitchen there to begin to learn seniors how to cook more healthy. Along with doing some other programs there, they're looking at expanding those out into other areas. The city of Chesney is coming into the parks tax, and they have given $75,000 over the next 5 years, $25,000 the first year, to help fund this park. If we look back at the millage rate, we would have to go back past fiscal year 8 to get to a millage of 5.5. It was 5.7 in 08, 5.8 in 09, 5.8 in 10, 5.8 in 11. My motion is I move to amend the park millage set forth in the budget ordinance by increasing the millage 0.5 mils, thereby making the parks millage rate in the budget ordinance 5.5 mils. And if we use $100,000 benchmark for our owner-occupied house, that's a $2 increase.
I would second that.
All right, we have a motion and second. Any other discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Mance, and I am aware that maybe several times in our tenure in office that we have reduced the park and rec millage. You know off the top of your head over the course of the last 4 years, maybe how much we reduced it?
We reduced it last year, Mr. Cover. We hadn't reduced it. It had been increased, and I go back, I had requested this information, go back to 08, it was 5.7 in 08, 5.8 in 09, 5.8 in 10, 5.8 in 11, 5 mils in 12, and the recommendation for 13, 14 was 5 mils, and my motion was to move to increase that to 5.5 to give us operational costs to be able to operate these parks. We certainly have the money on the capital side, but it's the operation side that we're falling short.
So you're saying we haven't in the past cut the millage?
No, we have not. Till last year.
Mr. Nutt?
Over the last couple of years, we've made a lot of improvements in our park system. I think Jim Campbell has worked very hard at that. We've come up with a parks enhancement plan that I think is a lofty goal, but I think is one that Spartanburg can certainly meet. It was done under the condition that if we couldn't afford it and couldn't maintain it properly, then we wouldn't do it. To me, affordability does not mean a blank check, and every time we need more money, we just go back to the taxpayers, and that's called affordable. So I'm strongly against this motion.
The other discussion?
I would just certainly want to say that, obviously I second Mr. Mitz's motion. Recognizing that we do have a growing aging population in Spartanburg. Spartanburg has been a wonderful family-oriented community, knowing that this is a rapidly expanding retirement community. I support that. It's strengthening anything we can do on behalf of seniors. And obviously, Jim and the staff on the programmatic side, as we expand opportunities for our youth, we definitely need more opportunities for our youth to engage in the activities associated with the Parks and Recreation Department. That's another reason why I would strongly support this motion.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I don't want to get in front of somebody else that was already spoke, but I would like to speak again before them.
Fire away.
In the past, the senior center in Chesney has not, the youth has not been allowed to use that building. When it comes into Parks and Rec, the youth will be allowed to use the building, the seniors will be allowed to use the building, and those that, in this 46,000 plus, that's working at BMW or wherever their work jobs, when they come in at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, they'll have a gym that they can go to and won't have to go back to Spartanburg or to Bowling Springs or somewhere to join the gym. So I think that's important to point out that the youth is also is the people in Chester that know about this are extremely excited about it. They're using this from the Bowling Springs side of the river. As many of you know, the river splits up there, but there's a lot of people come across the river, had a lot of positives on it. I failed to point that out this when you pointed out. Thank you.
Discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to add some of the things that I know personally is taking place through the Parks and Rec Department. One of them is an area of Spartanburg County that has been in dire need of services for quite a while, and that is the Emery community. Emery was once a very vibrant mill town, and now both of those mills, one is completely non-functional, the other still has a crew of about 400 in it. This is the Chapman mill that's down there. But these children and the seniors have absolutely no outlet for activities or involvement whatsoever, other than those who do attend the religious communities' actions there. We are going to be able to offer, through a beautiful public-private partnership with the Chapman family, to have not an after-school, but a summer youth program in the Emery area that's going to provide supervision, counselors, activities, character enhancements, arts, crafts, things that these children have been seeing in the past in the summers, just loitering around and fending for themselves. Many people in the community were concerned that they weren't even getting one meal a day. We know now that they will be getting that meal a day for sure, and also have activities for them. This is done through a public-private partnership that is one of the many ways that we see parks working. And I have to be in favor of the millage increase, because I also see some of the new projects that are taking place that's really reaching out into the community, to our citizens. And you cannot have as big a county as Spartanburg County is and continue to operate and function on the village that we have at this time.
Any other discussion? Mr. Lindsey, as you know, I was against your motion a couple of years ago, so with that being said, any other discussion?
I admitted I made a mistake, sir.
I know you did. Take a big man, do well there.
Let me just, since everybody else has said one quick thing, Joe mentioned this too just the other day, and told him I needed time to think about it, and I still need time to think. After hearing the presentation from our administrator this morning on how tough things are, and the increases that our employees are going to take on, healthcare and other things, as well as everybody else in the county. I mean, I know many companies that haven't given an increase, and even though it's only a $2 on $100,000 increase, it's still an increase. I'm gonna have to vote against it because of that fact. And this is not any statement to the Parks and Rec, because I think they have come light years from where they were. I've heard nothing but compliments all over the county. Even yesterday, I had a gentleman in, very well respected businessman, just singing your praises and your department's praises, Jim, how they're working with the senior citizens. So this is no statement to y'all, but right now, first reading, I'm gonna have to vote against it.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to also make a comment.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mintz, I think you and I both have a different view of Parks and Rec than we had 6 years ago when we first took office. I have changed my opinions of it. I truly see that good Parks and Rec is an economic development tool. And I guess on a lighter note, I have a granddaughter that just graduated ECU with a degree in Parks and Rec management. So she has opportunity to bend my ear as to the virtues of good Parks and Rec system. So I truly see the need. I truly see the the advantage of having a good or better Parks and Rec system. But I also see the economic situation that our public is in at this moment. I see the economic situation that our administrators spent an hour and 15 minutes explaining to us earlier. And if I am to ask our employees to, put hardships on themselves so that our county budget can come through this the way we have been proposed, I can in good faith, offer, more reliant assistance to one organization than another. So for that reason, and that reason alone, I must, vote against this.
All right, all in favor of the amendment, raise your hand. All opposed? And I vote affirmative. Amendment passes. Now, any other discussion? on
Chairman,
first
we have
reading of the
one
budget?
other item here that we need to make an amendment to. Our committee proposed to move the amendment to budget ordinance inserting section 6 in part 2 of the permanent provisions of the budget ordinance to address the building code fees. Our administrators asked that we go more into detail on this in the second reading. But in the first reading, I move that we give our staff permission to move forward with that.
Was that not made in the motion out of committee?
It wasn't in the original motion that came out of the committee, the committee did amend it,
I thought we did.
but it wasn't included in the.
All right, we have a motion.
Was this from what committee sat on?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
Second. Any other discussion on regarding fees? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, I vote affirmative, and it passes.
Are we still discussing the budget?
Yes, sir.
Kevin, I do have one question, concerning our health insurance.
Yes, sir.
I noticed that one of the proposals was a surcharge, I guess, on, dependent coverage, if coverage was available with a spouse. And basically what we're trying to do with our insurance program is to kind of be somewhat more aligned with the industry standard. And my concern is that if all insurance companies are doing the same thing, then there's really no place to put dependents without a surcharge. So in essence, all families are gonna be paying a surcharge for dependent care, and with the spouse, you can go either way, you can make that decision. With dependents, really, we may be bumping up insurance rates for every family, whether we want to or not, in a roundabout way. Is there a way that we can address that where we're not automatically surcharging every family and our employees?
Sure, we'd be glad to bring back sort of the parameters for that, with that in mind, when we come back for second reading. And hopefully that'll help allay any concerns that you have about that.
Hey, Catherine, not understanding that there's some concerns with all of us concerning the affordability care act. Is it possible that we could get some industry officials to come and either present it second meeting information in terms of the different levels that can be associated under the act and the exchanges in particular, or if that may be too time consuming for council, we can have a separate form for everyone, just so we can receive the information.
Sure.
It's gonna happen over time.
Sure. Let me see what I can do with that.
Michael, I go to one a month, and they still don't know what's going on. I'm being serious.
Our folks do too.
I'm being serious.
They
They
go
still
through
do
it.
not know, and this thing is supposed to be
Yeah.
implemented soon.
And I was at a meeting and some people came and presented, so.
Yeah,
I think-
and they can give you a snapshot, but, you know, all they call them now is platinum, gold, silver, bronze, don't know the prices, don't know the benefits really. They're still, I think they're on page 1200, so, learn more. Any other discussion?
Catherine, when we're talking about the insurance options, there's also another option, I think, for, coverage for dependents with the Palmetto, whatever.
Yes, ma'am. In the state of South Carolina, there's a project called the Palmetto Project, and what the attempt is by this effort is to try to help children who are eligible for Medicaid. I think I'm getting this right, Councilman Hall, but are eligible for Medicaid to actually sign up for the program. We have heard that there were somewhere in the neighborhood, and I know a number of us heard this presentation, so I'll take a correction if I need it back. I think it was around 10,000 children who are eligible for this program in Spartanburg County's registration for Medicaid was significantly less than that. So one of the things that we've done is brought the Palmetto Act application process in-house through a partnership with our local Palmetto project representative operating under a grant from Mary Black Foundation, so that if our employees would qualify, they can actually do the application here in-house. Make it more convenient for them. They can do that through our HR office. We're actually trying to use it also as ambassadors with folks who may qualify just because of indigent care provisions or through being unemployed. As we come across those folks through our various services, whether it's in family court or through the sheriff's department or magistrate court, coroner's office, community development, as we recognize that we're working with a citizen who qualify for that project. Those teams have also been trained to try to help get folks to be aware of this assistance that can be provided to them. I recognize it's a federal program and we all pay federal taxes too, but just trying to make sure that our citizens and especially our employees understand what may be available to them.
Any other discussion?
Chairman, I got
Rich,
one.
hold on a minute.
Go ahead.
I just got one question for Catherine. In the FSAs, there is no millage increases. All these are the same as last year.
Yes, sir. The budget that I'm recommending to you would be no millage increase for the FSA. That was across the board.
Councilman Brett? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to make a quick comment. I've been through 22 budget discussions over the last 22 years. And I know, Catherine, that your staff and team have come together. This thing is much like getting on a 757. And there are a lot of people who fly a plane, get it up and get it down, not always very smoothly. But I've never had more confidence coming into a budget discussion than I've had this time. I know your team, you give all the credit. Catherine and I have talked about it. And the meetings we've had, all the staff people have come together, elected officials, everybody else. What I want to say is, I don't think any of us, the 7 of us on council, and I'm sure the public has no clue just what kind of shape we were in. Now, the recession is winding down, but everybody is still struggling. Our business, we're still fighting for every inch just to keep our heads, above water. But I don't think any of us really know what serious shape this county was in. And Catherine and her team have put together a plan, and this is difficult to hear this stuff. It's concerning. You wonder how we're going to do it. The good news is that we know where we are. Again, I know the captain of this 757 knows what she's doing, and her team behind her does. And I have all the confidence in the world we're going to come out of this thing. Because we know, again, where we are, we know what we've got to do. This county will be strong. And I credit Catherine and, again, her team for putting this together. This council's taking this very seriously, too. All of us have spent time with her and her team. We know what the shape is right now. And it may look bleak for our employees and the others, this is tough. But we're going to come out of this. And like I say, I come through this process with the utmost confidence and faith in Catherine Hubbard, the team that she has behind her. And I thank you for taking it so seriously. And I appreciate your efforts, all of y'all put into it.
Chairman.
Hold on,
I just want to echo what David said, Catherine. We had our discussion the other day. I've told several people since that I really admire you and your staff for exactly making all those tough decisions. Because like I told you, I wouldn't want to be where you were. So I just want to say that, had it not been for the motion and the amendment, I would certainly be voting for this budget.
Again, Catherine, I want to bestow a debt of gratitude to you and your staff. Earlier, I know we had several members of the Citizens for Efficient Government in our audience, and it made me stop and think. Catherine, David, I've sat as the chairman of the finance committee for 6 years and, you know, but I've seen a lot in the 6 years. And Catherine, your team has come up and worked on this budget with what I truly call efficient government. In the past, you know, maybe I just haven't had privy to all the numbers that I've had in the last 2 years, but this year, you know, it really did me good to see that, you know, our team has got down to the $5,000 here. You know, in the past, it seemed like, you know, we've been, you know, concentrating on the big number items, but, you know, I can truthfully say that I see where your team has got down on the very minute particles of this budget, and I sincerely appreciate that, because, you know, Rome was not built in a day, and you do it on the smallest levels, and I think that will, in the long run, prove very successful for Spartanburg County.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, if
Yes,
I
ma'am.
may, I want to thank you for your comments, and I truly accept them on behalf of the staff, because this budget is not created by me, it's created by the team that's in behind me. So thank you very much for your comments, and again, I accept them on behalf of the team.
Any other discussion? All in favor of first reading of the budget, raise your right hand. All opposed? All vote affirmative, and it passes. Next, we have item B, receive information, take desired action in reference to budget ordinance to establish capital projects budget for 2013-2014 budget of 5-year capital improvement plan.
Mr. Chairman, I move to suspend the first reading.
Have a motion? Second. Any other discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, vote affirmative, it passes. Thank you. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.